Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dental Woman's podcast. And I'm joined with the wonderful Emma Barclay today. Hi, Emma.
Hi.
Emma is a product specialist at Boutique, but a long time dental bod. She's been in dentistry for now, 14 years?
Yeah, too long.
14 years. Started off as a nurse, and she worked for 3M
Yeah, 2 years at 3M. Yeah.
Boutique. That's how I know you. Superstar, Emma. That's why I love you. You're just everywhere, always smiling, always bubbly. But today, you haven't come on as someone from Boutique. You've come on because I heard your story, well, a snippet of your story, and we're going to hear more about it today. But I wanted everyone to kind of hear your story and your journey since then. But let's start a little bit back before we get to the thing that will shock our audience. Is tell me about your fiance. Back then when you met him.
Good. So we just had so much in common. And it was back in the day when dating was simple and you fell in love and there wasn't sort of all that choice and an app for finding something that, we found so organically. And so we were big in the car scene from back in the day where, you'd modified your cars, you'd go to car shows and things. And it was just so easy. We developed such a great friendship and it kind of went from there. It was just, I always say that fairy tales do come true. Obviously, in my case, they don't last forever, but it was what we did have was amazing for the short time that we did have it. And yeah, it was just one of those absolute, even talking about it now, it's just such a lovely love story. And we were so meant to be together, even, regardless of the outcome. But we had two beautiful children. We got engaged. It all kind of happened really quickly, but everything felt right. I mean, I was so young when we met and, I was 19 and it snowballed. We had our daughter, Lola. I bought a house at the age of 21. It was a different time and it was a nicer time, I think. And yeah, it just felt right. Everything just felt like it was meant to be. Obviously, when he proposed, there wasn't a doubt in my mind that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with this man. I don't think we ever really argued. It was just such it was almost too good to be true, and obviously it was. But then my son came along, completed family, we were happy, and everything just felt right. I just remember driving home from work one day when I used to work Saturdays in the dental practice, driving home from work, and the song would come on, and I would actually cry with happiness because I just felt that, and it sounds so stupid saying it now, and I feel like a bit of a fool, but I felt like my life was perfect. Um, and I think that's kind of the takeaway here is, when things are going that well, that great, and you feel like you're on top of the world and nothing's going to ruin it, you really have to cherish every moment because you just never know what is around the corner, and it's a scary reality.
It was 3 months up to you leading up to your wedding, right?
Yeah. So obviously things turned. Adam got quite unwell and actually he was misdiagnosed for mental health, would you believe? And he actually passed away just over 2 months before we got married. So everything was in place for the wedding of my dreams that you dream of as a child, and planned it all. And yeah, he was taken away from us New Year's Day, 2016 when I was on maternity leave from the dental practice. My daughter was just approaching 4. My son was 8 months old and I was 24 years old. Adam was 27. So we lost the greatest man I've ever met, the greatest person I've ever met, the greatest dad. I can't put into words what a beautiful soul he was. So yeah. But it was a New Year's Day as well. Of all days, we were like, Adam, you could have, start every year on a kind of trying to start afresh, but with such a heavy heart to begin the year with. It's tough.
Yes, really hard for you every year.
Yeah. But I have two beautiful children. At the time, I wanted the world to swallow me up and disappear. The kids are a blessing and a curse when it comes to things like this. You always feel the grief for the kids as well as yourself. So it hits you twice. But also, but having them gave you something to live for and gave you something to work, hard for and to keep going. And I think that was kind of the push that I needed having them. Also, the guilt kicks in where you can't be the best mum that you've always pictured yourself being because you're hit with a huge amount of grief. You've lost yourself, you've lost your right arm, and you continue life half the person you built yourself up to be. So it's finding a new identity, a new normal, and a whole new way of life that you just can't comprehend.
Postpartum, maternity leave, 2 children, or 2 months before your wedding. Yeah, I don't think anyone can comprehend that.
It's when I kind of explain the story, I mean, he was 27 as well. He didn't even make 30, you know? He had a brain tumor.
Chinois.
Yeah, and he had a brain tumor. And I mean, it was misdiagnosed quite a lot. We did fight for justice for the misdiagnosis. And actually, now there is a rapid response in the hospital for anyone experiencing the symptoms he had. There is now a rapid sort of 2-week referral process put in place because of it. So things have changed, obviously not to save Adam, but to save people in that situation. I did throw myself into charity work because it felt like that was the only thing I could do, the only thing that made me feel better. So we threw ourselves into charity, myself and the kids, dragged the kids in as well. We did a couple of 11-mile walks and things for brain tumor research. I went to India, cycled 200 miles on a bike, mostly uphill in the heat. With
How old were your kids when you were doing this?
this was the thing, the year following. This was a couple of months maybe after he passed away. Left the kids for 2 weeks, went to India, cycled with a load of sort of, celebrities as such for brain tumor research. Raised money in a charity ball, loads of things, and all of the friends and family got involved as well. And friends popped up from all of Adam's walk of life and joined in. So it was really lovely. It was nice to see a community come together because he deserved every good word, every positive outcome from it. He earned over the years from helping people, from just being there for people, and just being such a good person. He really, honestly, he was such an angel. And I've never met anyone else like him. And I just every day I have his kind of words in my head pushing me to be a better person, to help people, I just want to honor him by being more like him. And I think that's kind of, what I try and teach the kids. And they look so much like him, so it's tough sometimes. My son gets his haircut, it just triggers a whole wave of emotion that I can't cope with.
It's 9 years now, right?
Yeah, this New Year's Day will be 10 years. And the sad reality of losing someone is your life changes and you become a different person. I always say there's two Emmas. There's the before and the after. And I will always be now the after. But the kids, I can't even remember where I was going with this. It's just there's brought up so many emotions. It's just, yeah, so different. It's felt like yesterday. It felt like yesterday. And so many people, and we have had quite a lot of people say, you should be over it now.
What?
Yeah. Friends, some family have said, you should move on. You can't still be crying about it. And it is just,
Send them my way. What?
honestly.
This was your children's father. Your kids look like him, that mini clones.
He's the love of my life. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just this honestly, this amazing human being. You cannot move on from that. You just have to live with it and adapt. Yeah, you really become a new normal becomes totally different, has a completely different meaning. So yeah, that's the story I'm left with. And I laugh about it because it's my only way of, being able to cope with talking about it often. And, we do talk about it often because the kids need to hear his name. The, you know, even so my third child was from a different partner, and even his middle name is Adam because he wouldn't be here if, it's just to honor him as much as possible. The day of the wedding, I changed my surname to Barclay, which was his name. So yeah, it's everything we do now is to kind of keep his memory alive, but also live in the good person that he was.
Must be so hard because people say move on, but like you said, you've never met anybody like him.
I don't think they exist. I think, yeah, I mean, I do. You put them on a pedestal, don't you? Especially, once they've been taken too soon. He will be forever 27. Someone said to me, you didn't get to meet the fat and the bald and the old him. He could have started snoring, he could start getting really messy but he never did. He was always perfect. So it's really hard to come back from that. I didn't see the old him. I didn't see the slobbish and,
Hard for you now, right?
yeah.
Find love again.
It's tough. And I say to everybody, I've become the man I'm now looking for because of that choice. So if something needs fixing in the house, I'll fix it. If a bill needs paying, no one's coming to save you. I will have to fix it. The kids, the mortgage, the working full time, getting them to school, going to parents' evening, everything you need to do, the shopping, the packed lunches, it all falls on myself. And it's not like I'm looking, I don't look for a pity party. I just think I never would have imagined myself being strong enough to take on two people's job, one person's job. A mum's job is a full-time job. A full-time job is a full-time job. And I'm trying to piece together being the best of mum, dad, work version of me. It's tough. It's tough.
I think my mum very, very young. People I've come across would have remarried because it's hard to do it alone. So I know you once said to me that you wanted people to know that you can do it alone. You can do mum, dad, full-time job. Is that how you still feel? It's something you want to add?
A lot of support always says, and I've heard this a lot, and I think I remember mentioning it to you at the first event that you did. And I said, a lot of people will say to reach out and to lean on your husband and let them know how you're feeling and make sure that they're there for you in the ways that help you. And I just remember feeling quite lonely and thinking, I don't have the option to lean on my husband. I don't have the option. I have some amazing friends. And it, we do our food shops together. And we do all of the things. We take ourselves out for dinner. I'm happy to take myself out for dinner. And I have done. This job has taught me to be a bit more control freak as well. And I think that is because I couldn't control the situation at the time. So now I control every aspect of my life. I don't trust people picking my food for me, so I have to go.
Give me some other examples. I want to hear this control freakness.
Stupid things like even washing up. My mum said, I would do it for you, but I've left it because I know I won't do it to your standards. And it's just things like that I know I just have to do it all. It's
This podcast is to tell you don't have to do all. You need a village. Okay.
I'm still waiting on the village arriving.
No, the village is there. You're just not making use of it. You knocked them in the coven and taking away the washing powders with you.
If the village want to come knocking on my door, they're welcome to. But there are rules. As long as they take the shoes off.
Another one. These sound good.
There are many. And I mean, even to the point now where my kids are learning to make me a tea or a coffee, they are having to do it multiple times to make sure it's correct. This is a tight ship.
Okay, tell me about the tea. It's hot water and milk.
No, coffee it takes some skill to make a good cup of coffee. My 10-year-old nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. But he's the only one I'll trust with the kettle. I don't let the 7-year-old get anywhere near it. But my 14-year-old, she doesn't care. She's too busy putting on her makeup, getting ready for school.
How is that? Like my 4-year-old told me she had a boyfriend the other day. I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? I was like, I need some clarification.
I have a few girlfriends. I was like, I'm here, I can't even get a date. And he's got to come.
Got a feeling like that. Good for him.
No,
I don't believe you can't get a date. I have a feeling you're just like, sorry, you're just not Adam.
no, I was in Marks and Spencer's the other day and with my friend, and we were saying, isn't there an app for having someone come round, cook you food, wash up, and then just leave? And then the
Yeah.
woman next to us turned around and was like, I wish. Like, "Oh,
It is. It's like all those cleaning help apps. They come and they clean and you can
yeah, we
choose.
just wanted a man to come and cook a roast
Oh,
dinner.
man. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, fine. We need one that
you know,
specifies they're always female, aren't they?
they are, come cook a roast dinner, and then wash up, but then leave. I think we've
Yeah.
got a case of hyper independence.
Yes. Yes. We want nothing else. Chefing abilities. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I mean, it has taken a long, long time, but I'm just happy that I can laugh about things again because there was a point once where I just never thought I would be able to, integrate back in normal life and laugh and work and, come to events like we went to the other day. And it's just, I do feel like dentistry's got a lot to answer for that for me. It is more of like a family community, you know? And I don't think that many industries give you that.
People hear that because a lot of people actually say otherwise. They feel like dentistry is quite isolating and cliquey and they feel like it doesn't. But I feel like it's those people who don't go out and they don't network and they don't cry.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've only met you in the last maybe 6 months.
Right.
And it's just from going out and networking and going to events and, just being a part of it and making yourself a part of it, that you meet people that you resonate with. And I love it. I enjoy my work. I kind of fall into dentistry. I was poached as a patient by my old boss. I was in the chair with my mouth open. It's like, "Do you want a job?" I was like, I don't know if that would I don't know if that would go against rules now." Yeah, I fell into dentistry. I enjoy it. And my daughter even said to me the other day, she goes, "I wanna be like you when I'm older." And I was like, "Oh, what?" I never thought she'd ever say it, and I just, it was lovely to hear. But I was, "What do you mean?" She goes, "You love your job, you love your boss, you love your team." And she was like, "It's so nice that," she's going through at the moment she's going through like choosing her GCSEs and kind of working out what she wants to do when she's older. And it was so nice that she sees that side, that actually work isn't just something you have to do, it's something you enjoy. It's a positive experience. I did well in school, but I never ever thought I'd end up in dentistry, and I can't ever see myself getting out of it. I tried and I got pulled back in, pulled me into boutique, but it was, yeah, I applied for 3M and got the job, but I did leave for a year and it just called me back. I just felt like, all my knowledge in dentistry was wasted if I didn't come back and use it. And I'm glad I'm back. I really enjoy it. I've made some great friends. There are some great people in dentistry. I'm sure some people might disagree, but there are.
Dentistry is a mixed bag. When I kind of came new on the social media scene, it's not like it looks like everybody loved each other. And then the deeper you get into it, people are like, yeah, but I'm like, oh, okay. But I stay in my lane. I'm this mum, I have my 3 kids. I'm a general practitioner. I don't know what's going on. I'm friends with everyone.
I think I don't know, maybe it's a pride thing, you know? You're always, dentists are perfectionists, always criticizing your own work, but naturally you're going to criticize everybody else's.
I don't
You
like
know?
the fake dentist, the dentist group. I don't know why people still post. It's like, you can't see what happened to the last person that posted. Why would you do that? You deserve the blocking, okay? Because you knew that they weren't going to say anything nice and you still put yourself out there.
But I think that's the beauty of just being a rep. No one cares. No one cares about me, but also I don't have to have an opinion. I can just slope off into the shadows, and it's quite nice to be involved, but not as involved as some.
I don't really do like put my dentistry out there. I'm kind of more the mum like communication vibe thing. So I think I've been safe from
I don't know how you have time to be clinical, to be honest, because
that's what pays me. Nothing else pays me. Nothing else pays me. I literally just gone up another clinical day now. I'm like, well, we did the assessment. This makes me money. This is what I need to go do. Honestly, I don't know how you do it. Single mom with 3 kids, like h- how? This is my genuine question. How? Like, I see what it takes to run a home and a livelihood, and then go on holidays and do nice things with your kids. So, how are you managing? Like, because a lot of women out there thinking that some of them might want to be leaving abusive relationships. Somebody might have lost a partner. You know, like so many reasons somebody wants to do it alone. How are you doing it?
I'm not. I'm struggling. I am, drowning sometimes. I am not coping. I am not, there is no kind of, oh, it looks like you're doing a really good job. It looks like, you've got it nailed. I haven't. I am winging it every day. But some days I'll shut my front door and I will burst into tears. But with those days are some of the best days ever. I've made this a pact to Adam that I will let I will do my best to make sure the kids explore the world like he did as a child growing up. And I take them on amazing holidays and we have the most amazing times. And they are the days where I will still have those days where I cry happy tears. But there are some days when I shut that front door and I am a mess. And I think that times have changed for women in the workplace generally, not even just dentistry, but my employer, I am so grateful to for being so understanding what it's like to be not only a woman, but to be a mum, to juggle everything I juggle. They are so understanding. Even 3M were the same, so understanding, so pro you being you because you have the skill set, regardless of the background noise. But there, I'm not coping. I have days where, I have no answers for who's going to pick the kids up from school. What am I going to do? So that is when I've had to rope in friends. I've had to rope in family. But again, sometimes with that, if I get the family involved for school, I feel guilty about using them for my social life. So that takes a battering.
Yeah.
So it is getting easier as they get older, But by the time 8:30 in the morning comes, I've done a day's work. And the day's only just beginning.
Yeah.
Dropping it at one point recently, it was 3 kids at 3 different schools. It's just all organization, planning the day before, working your way backwards from, you know, someone has to be here at 5 o'clock. Okay, let's work hours back. It's just trying to be as organized as possible. And it's all in my head. I almost have like a list in my head of things that need to be done. But I also know that if I don't do it, no one else is going to. So it's it just happens. It's like saying, "Oh, we'll have a baby when we can afford it. We'll buy, we'll do this when we can." You can never be in that situation. You just do. You can't wait until you can afford something or you wait till you have the perfect time to do something. It just works. It's tough.
It's funny because whenever time I see you always smiling and happy and bubbling, do you feel like is that something you do because of your job, or is something that you put out there because it makes you feel better?
I put a pressure on myself a lot to be able to juggle everything. But, not that long ago, I thought it's actually okay not to always be okay. So I'm a lot more honest now. I found myself saying to people, "Oh yeah, I'm fine." And then recently I was like, "Actually, I'm not fine. I'm really struggling. Like I am going through a little bit of a dark patch where I'm feeling really low." And actually being honest changed everything because then people were suddenly like, "Oh, at first they don't know how to cope with it. They're like, "Oh, you've just said you're fine." Yours is weird. We're so programmed to just be like, "Yeah, we're good," and we're not. But actually, my friends noticed before I even explained to them that I was struggling. But yeah, just being honest makes things so much easier. Even when I see people at work, you relate to people much better if they're getting the honest version of you. They'll definitely they know. If someone's being fake, you pick that up straight away, especially as mums. We are programmed to know if someone's not okay.
Yeah, actually, you're right. I remember saying that to my mum once. I'm like, "How do you always know?" She'd just bring me water and just appear. I'm like, "How?" Like, and she was like, "Mums understand what you do not say." Like we're like
Yeah.
what this frequency, mum frequency, and I was like, and now as a mum, I get it. I see what my child needs, and I think that gives us intuition into others as well.
You're programmed to put someone else first, always. And that doesn't stop with your kids. You just take that skill set into every walk of life, and you can see it. You can see it in people. I mean, maybe I pick up on a lot of things, um, just because I've covered every emotion under the sun. So I can kind of spot it you can see it in people's eyes, can't you? But yeah, it's just being honest and letting people know when you're feeling rubbish. Um, and also asking for help.
Actually,
So bad at it, I can't even let someone wash up.
yeah, so much like
Asking someone for help, it just doesn't come naturally because you just think, no, I can do it. Got myself into
I
this.
don't want people to think you can't handle it as well. This is one of my other podcasts that came up as well, asking for help. She said it made her feel like she was weak. She was like,
Yeah, for sure.
I was
For
like, yeah, I thought
sure.
the same. I was like, these are my kids, my life. I had twins. I should be able to handle it. Everything.
I mean, you ask how I cope, but twins.
And a 4-year-old, I found that the hardest. I think if I just had twins, it would have been okay. It was the fact that I had an older child that I felt like I just did not see anymore. I was neglecting. And she had, the babies had needs, but she also had wants now, and emotional wants. And I wasn't able to be present because I was drowning into babies. And it was so
Yeah.
hard, you know? It is really tough.
You
And
always feel like you're neglecting one, but them all being in a good mood at the same time as well. Like your chances are so slim. Imagine 3 kids and like, I've only got 2 sets of hands.
that's it. Like I want to rip myself into 3 mummies. That would be ideal situation, I think. There's times when them 3 are crying and I just cry with them, honestly. And talking about the crying, when you said that, I was like, oh, that's so sad. I was like, wait a second, now I do that too. I cry too. It's so hard. Motherhood is so hard. Like I can't imagine those early years for you when you lost Adam, what motherhood was like. I know you said you weren't your ideal version, but how do you feel? Sometimes as mums, we feel like we're messing up our kids for life. Like, sometimes like I'm tired, I'm exhausted with the twins. Like I might say something to Alana, like frustrated, and I apologize, but I feel like, have I now scarred her? Like, have I affected her self-confidence or her self-worth? Have I messed her up? Do you feel like at any point?
I think we all mess our kids up to a degree, but we're trying our best. There will always be aspects of that they will look back at when they're older. I mean, for me, I feel that they were stripped of their childhood. They were stripped of their normality of, having a dad that loved them taken away. And I couldn't give them the answers that they would help them at that age. How do you tell an almost 4-year-old that they're never going to see their dad again? You can't even come up with a story where their imagination won't run wild and they will feel abandoned. Even when I took Lola in to say goodbye to her dad in the hospital because they knew it was going to be his last day, I just said to the doctor, I don't know what the best thing to do is. There's no I can't make that decision. I don't know how to decide that. I'm 24 years old. I'm a child myself. The consultant just said, bring her in because her imagination will be worse than the reality. So I took that advice because I had no other, um, what else was I supposed to do? So I took her in. She took one look at him and she just said, I want to go home. And she now doesn't remember that. But how can you not be messed up slightly as an adult? Going through that as a child or watching your mum break down for, a solid year. I struggled with, I got the mum bit down. I kind of went into practicality and got the mum bit down to a T, but I lost Emma in the process. I got the career and I got the mum, but I lost me. And it's not only so when people say, aren't you over it yet? Or haven't you moved on? It's nearly 10 years on and I'm still working out who I am, as me, as Emma, you know? And actually, like, coming to terms with that was quite tough as well, and admitting that to myself that I'd lost who I was. That has been a bit of a, it's been a change. So I'm working on that somehow.
Do you feel like you found her again or the new version of her, or still a work in progress?
It's still a work in progress, and I think it always will be. But I'm I feel as though things are getting better. There's hope anyway.
What are you doing to find Emma again? What are you actually doing?
I am just spending time with those I want to spend time with. I'm saying yes to the things I want to say yes to and no to the things I don't. And so long, I used to justify, oh, I'm not going to do that because of this. And actually, no, because just no, you know?
Sentence, they say, right?
Yeah, no is a sentence. And it's quite freeing not worrying about upsetting people because you're protecting you and you're protecting your peace. And just stupid things like listening to the music I want to listen to, being in the car and just having no one else in there but me and my music. That is Emma again. That is, I've never been one to go to like clubs and drink loads and things like that. Yeah, I've just never been that person. And I always felt like something was wrong with me because everyone else seemed to enjoy it and I didn't. But I don't like doing that. I'm happy with that. And actually, the older you get, the more you think, I wish I'd just had a conversation with me back then. But for the last 10 years, yeah, it's been a bit of a journey. Trying to accept that I'm quite happy with who I am now. I feel like I make good decisions. I can safely say I'm a good person. I always have good intentions. I care too much, maybe. Yeah, I'm happy in my job, happy with the kids, and just starting to feel me again. It's all just piecing back together.
Oh, so nice. Obviously, you also had the loss of Adam to add to your story, but I think motherhood is such a big change, such a big whirlwind. And I think there's not a single mom I've met that hasn't lost herself in it.
Yeah,
So everything you've been through and your three kids, I think you're doing amazing. And I feel like every time I meet you, I meet Emma. Obviously, I don't know what Emma was like pre-Adam. And like you were saying at the beginning, there's an Emma before and the Emma after.
yeah,
And I think the Emma after is not going to be one Emma. There's going to be multiple versions
yeah,
for every season from when your kids are young, from teen years through one job or another. Because I feel like I'm constantly evolving in ways I like and the ways I don't like, and then recalibrating. But self-awareness, I think, is the biggest thing.
yeah. It's definitely something I've worked on. A lot of people will say go to therapy, and the amount of people said, "Oh, you should be going to therapy now. You should be going to therapy." I tried it for a little while, and I felt as though I was quizzing the therapist. I, I was analyzing her.
Like, if you got your shit together before you tell me to get my shit together.
What are your qualifications? I'm pretty messed up, but I feel the best therapy. I went to sound baths. I threw myself into the gym, but I feel like it's ever evolving. 1 minute therapy and it's great for some people. I just felt like it wasn't sitting talking about my feelings wasn't something I struggled with. I would chew the ear off a stranger on the train if they wanted to listen about Adam. I have no issues doing that whatsoever. Um, so that wasn't the problem. I think it was just doing the things that I wanted to do and liked doing. Um, and not just being mum. Not just being mum. And knowing that the more I became myself, the better the mum I was. Because they
Mm.
were getting a happier version of me and a more whole version of me than this kind of shadow of just mum.
Thing is, we feel so guilty doing things for ourselves. But like you said, when you do put yourself first, I remember reading somewhere, it's not about me first, it's about me too. But no, I think it's about me first. Because when you put yourself first, the happiness, the cup of yours that you fill just overflows into your kids' cups and they can feel that happiness and you just, pour it into them. And I'm still learning that because my default mode is to try to do everything like the perfectionist that I think I am.
Yeah.
To my own detriment and to the kids. But I keep trying to remind myself, if I take care of me, it's not bad. Don't feel guilty. It's better. It's for the kids.
I was on a plane recently, and it's that, when they say, "Oh, put your oxygen mask on before you help out them, because if you're passed out, you can't put theirs on." And it's the same thing. If you're not looking after you, you can't possibly look after them. So it's the same situation. I've been on quite a few holidays now with friends, and it is lovely to come back and feel refreshed. And it's so lovely to see the kids again, but also for them to see their mum enjoying their life and doing things for herself. It's not selfish, and it's just showing the kids that they need to invest in themselves as well.
Where do you think this mum guilt has come from?
Maybe back in the day when we had to choose between mum or career. And now we have no choice but to do both, because the world won't wait for us to just be mum. We have to also work, because life's too expensive just to have one person work. And I think now we have to juggle both the career and the mum. We feel bad for both. Sometimes I'll feel like I'm not good enough for work. Sometimes I'll feel like I'm not good enough for the kids, but you have to juggle both. So you're feeling guilty all the time. And us as overthinking women, you're going to feel bad that you're trying to give 50-50 to both, but one is always you're never going to level that out.
I think I was DMing my project's going to be now to working on the domestic abuse side of things to make sure that's not happening. But I think we need to eradicate mum guilt.
Yeah.
I think if we talk about it enough, people will realize, okay, screw this useless emotion. It's serving us mothers not at all. It's useless.
Yeah, we are mums for the first time too. We are winging it every day. And I look back on my mum and I think, she was a mum for the first time. And I expected her to have it all together as her child. I was like, well, she should. She's my mum. But actually, she was living her first ever life. Like, she was still living the life for the first time. No rule book. She was, brought up by her mum doing the same thing, trying her best. And, I think we just think that everyone should have it together, and we just don't.
We forget that, yes, she was your mom, but she wasn't just your mom.
Yeah.
She was a person. She had like things she wanted to do. It's
She
crazy.
had bad days where she felt sad, but she would never let us see. But actually, it's okay, you know? Even with the kids now, I will cry in front of the children because I don't want them thinking that crying is a sign of weakness, because mum can cry because something's sad. Why should we hold it in? Because then we're just creating emotionally unstable adults.
Yeah.
If we don't show them that it's okay to cry as a role model.
Yeah. They do what we do, not what we say.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Emma, thank you so much for this very enlightening, emotional roller coaster of a podcast.
Sorry.
Cuddling my kids with my husband. You are an amazing woman. And every time I meet you, you honestly light up the room. You're the reason that I wanted to partner with Boutique. You're an incredible person. And I know as women, sometimes we don't feel it. I think we're the first to bring ourselves down. We don't need others to hate on us because we do it.
We don't. We do enough of that ourselves.
But honestly, I hope you know that you've got a lot of fans and a lot of people that see how incredible you are. And your vulnerability that you spoke about on the podcast. I got it from the first time I looked at you at Thrive. I was like, oh my God, this woman is so open and like what stands like, oh, this is a rep. I was like, no, this is like this vulnerable Emma who loves her job, who's talking openly about her life. And I was like, I want to be her friend.
Thank you for having me. Again, being a rep, I always feel like no one cares about what we have to say generally in work and outside of. But again, it's more than that when in the dental world as well. And some of the friends we've made, it's more than that, isn't it? You will know each other for the people you are, not what you do.
Also, I think it's the way you speak. It's the way you open up as well. It didn't feel like I was just meeting a rep who's trying to sell me something. I was meeting a person, I think. And that's you.
Thank you.
You're
Don't tell
amazing.
that to Prem.
Prem, promote her. Pay her.
She was really trying to. She was made a hard sell. I appreciate the support you give me. And I'm thankful for our friendship.